sure what I'm able to bring. It's what all these very brave ladies tell me.
The royal circle has been rocked by an unexpected clash within the palace's most secure rooms.
Breaking right now, the British royal family mired in one of its biggest crises in history.
Princess Anne, who is famous for her strict adherence to tradition and discipline, is said to have sent Queen Camilla an incredible letter. She will not participate in the coronation of Prince William.
And I felt, you're losing people every single time you have those headlines. We all get that there's a really big urgent message.
The declaration, firm and uncompromising, has sparked whispers of rivalry and quiet resistance behind closed doors. As alliances shift, tensions rise, and the monarchy's future suddenly feels uncertain. What ignited this dramatic standoff? The silent rift. For a family built on centuries of ceremony, polished appearances, and unshakable tradition, this was a moment no one truly anticipated. The monarchy has endured wars, scandals, abdications, and public outrage, priding itself on order, hierarchy, and knowing precisely who stands where when the crown passes. Yet as succession increasingly centered on Prince William, an unexpected tension quietly unfolded behind palace doors. What should have been a seamless transition, a united front, grew taut, not loud, not dramatic, but in the glances exchanged across dining tables, in shorter meetings, in names quietly omitted from guest lists. Then came the move that stunned even seasoned royal watchers. Princess Anne, known for her iron discipline and lifelong dedication to duty, acted with calm precision rather than public confrontation, and the impact was immediate. Queen consort Camilla was excluded from early coronation planning. Initially dismissed as a scheduling error or oversight, the pattern soon became unmistakable. High-level strategy meetings proceeded, confidential papers circulated, key decisions about symbolism, ceremony, and structure were made, and Camilla's name appeared nowhere. Those closest to the process noted the efficiency: no chaos, no rebellion. William's advisors moved swiftly, almost instinctively, within a tight inner circle, while planning continued without her. The shock deepened as Camilla realized the exclusion not through formal discussion but through her own staff, who questioned why memos bypassed her or why major outlines never reached her office. Initially assumed to be administrative errors, unanswered follow-ups confirmed the truth. The move was deliberate. Inside Clarence House, the emotional blow reportedly hit hard. Camilla, who had spent years rebuilding her image and securing her position beside the king, believed she had cemented her place, only to be quietly edged out of the monarchy's most critical transition. True to royal custom, there was no public reaction, complaint, or correction, but the heavy silence within the palace spoke volumes. Exclusion in the royal household is rarely accidental, it is strategic, and insiders insist Princess Anne acted deliberately to protect Prince William, shielding him from lingering tensions that could distract from his future role. For decades, Anne has carried out her royal duties with military-like precision, believing the crown is not a stage but a responsibility, and her measured restraint toward Queen consort Camilla has been subtle yet unmistakable. While other senior royals gradually accepted Camilla and maintained a careful boundary, fulfilling formal obligations but avoiding warmth or public camaraderie, viewing positions within the monarchy as earned through steady service rather than image repair. As King Charles and Camilla's public presence strengthened, Camilla's influence quietly expanded in ceremonial and internal planning, prompting moments of subtle correction from small, controlled adjustments that maintained order without drama. Concerned about blurred authority and potential instability, Anne began private discussions with William, emphasizing clarity in roles and boundaries. The tension, meanwhile, quietly intensified between William and Camilla, manifesting in glances, pauses, and carefully measured exchanges behind palace walls. The breaking point came during a private meeting at Clarence House, where William, calm but resolute, requested that certain decisions, particularly around his coronation, be reserved for him and his advisors, asserting the future king's authority over tradition and symbolism. Camilla, perceiving ceremonies as mere pageantry, lightly brushed off the concerns, unintentionally triggering William's firm, measured reminder, "This is not your crown to shape." No argument ensued, no dramatic exit was made, but the atmosphere shifted decisively. Within days, William quietly aligned with Anne, whose unwavering loyalty and disciplined approach made her a key ally, and together they effectively narrowed Camilla's involvement in sensitive planning, not through spectacle or confrontation, but through strategic containment, drawing a silent boundary that spoke volumes within the palace walls. This clash, hidden from public view, is less about personalities than about legacy, influence, and control over how the monarchy will navigate a modern world, and the tremors of this quiet, calculated maneuver will be felt for years to come. Coronation planning quietly shifted, invitations were adjusted, agendas reworked, and meetings scheduled without certain names, all without public confrontation because in royal life, power moves through access, not announcements. Queen Consort Camilla discovered her exclusion not through conversation but through absence. A meeting she expected to attend occurred without her, a briefing moved forward without her input. Initially, her team assumed oversight, but unanswered calls and confirmed schedules revealed the truth: she had not been forgotten, she had been removed. Reports suggest she privately confronted King Charles, seeking clarity after years of carefully rebuilding her image and securing her place, only to realize her influence was slipping. Charles, cautious and measured, offered little resistance. His silence spoke volumes. For Camilla, the revelation cut deep. The monarchy she had worked to belong to was evolving, and evolving without her at its center. She did not retreat quietly, increasing public engagements and using strategic visibility to reassert herself, yet the reality was undeniable. The future of the monarchy was quietly being redefined, and her influence was no longer guaranteed. Into this subtle power vacuum stepped Catherine, Princess of Wales, who required no assertion or demand. She occupied space naturally, with confidence, composure, and growing public admiration. Unlike Camilla's overt attempts, Catherine's rise was quiet, deliberate, and rooted in patience, thoughtfulness, and unwavering focus. From the earliest coronation meetings, she shaped not just schedules and guest lists but the tone and essence of the ceremony itself, balancing tradition with relevance, ensuring the event resonated with the public, particularly younger generations. She proposed including young participants in the procession and honoring Queen Elizabeth II in ways that respected history while subtly pointing to the future. Catherine's influence was earned through calm, measured delivery and seamless alignment with William's vision, earning the trust of every advisor without the need for announcements. Where Camilla's assertiveness occasionally sparked resistance, Catherine's presence became undeniable through dignity, clarity, and quiet reliability. Together, with William, she was not merely planning a ceremony, she was helping define the monarchy's next chapter. The public, long fatigued by scandals and missteps, recognized and responded to her authenticity. She never sought to replace anyone, never competed or pushed back. She simply embodied the stability, trust, and confidence the monarchy was quietly moving toward, and in some ways, what it had always represented. Every gesture, recommendation, and decision within the palace sent a signal. The monarchy's future was being quietly reshaped, and at its center stood William and Catherine. Yet behind the polished surface, the royal household remained a delicate ecosystem, where even minor shifts could ripple into crises. Coronation planning had been recalibrated, invitations altered, agendas rewritten, meetings held without certain names. Camilla discovered her exclusion not through conversation but through absence. Briefings proceeded without her, and expected meetings occurred without notice. Initially assumed to be oversights, the pattern soon became undeniable. She had been deliberately sidelined. Private confrontations with King Charles yielded little. Years of rebuilding her image and securing her place were suddenly threatened. Charles, torn between loyalty to his wife and the realities unfolding, found his influence constrained, and, unwavering as ever, remained calm, measured, and immovable, acting not out of personal grievance but to safeguard the institution, drawing quiet but firm boundaries that even the king could not cross. Within days, William aligned with and consolidating authority over sensitive planning, while Catherine stepped into the space naturally, her influence growing without announcement or contention. She shaped not just schedules and guest lists but the tone and vision of the coronation itself, balancing tradition with relevance, including young participants in the procession, honoring history while subtly pointing toward the future, and earning trust through poise and clarity. Where Camilla's attempts at presence drew attention, resistance, and occasional friction, Catherine moved with quiet inevitability, embodying the reliability and authenticity that the public had long craved. The palace maintained a calm exterior, official statements emphasizing unity and cooperation, yet Camilla's conspicuous absence spoke volumes. Internally, memos strictly instructed aides to avoid speculation and omit her name entirely from coronation discussions, a deliberate containment strategy to preserve appearances while quietly redefining influence. Whispers of betrayal and frustration circulated among those closest to her. In a monarchy where image defines power, invisibility was more than humiliation, it was exile. Tensions escalated further at Windsor, where Charles privately summoned and urging her to reconsider her decisive actions. Speaking not as king but as husband, he pleaded for recognition of Camilla's endurance and loyalty, and responded with calm finality, leaving the meeting unresolved, yet resolute. Tradition and the crown's future took precedence over personal entreaties. Weeks before, Camilla's role had been fully diminished, and had already signaled her concerns in a private letter to Charles, articulating the fragile balance of trust, the necessity of limits, and the centrality of William as the figure capable of blending tradition with vision. Her words were formal but imbued with urgency, emphasizing that hard choices must be made for the institution's survival, not personal comfort. The palace's subtle choreography and quiet defiance, William's measured support, Catherine's natural assent, and Camilla's strategic but constrained visibility revealed a silent yet decisive reshaping of the monarchy. Power within these walls is never owned. It is maintained through loyalty, discipline, and the willingness to act in service of the crown. Every omitted mention, every calibrated gesture, every carefully managed meeting reinforced the truth. The monarchy's future was being quietly defined, and the balance of influence had shifted irrevocably. Princess Anne's foresight was clear. Letting go, she implied, might be uncomfortable, even painful, but it was a necessary sacrifice for the monarchy to endure. The emergence of her private letter was more than a window into personal concern. It illuminated a hidden struggle over influence, perception, and the future of royal authority. Its implications were impossible to ignore, raising questions of accountability, legacy, and public loyalty. In the modern era, public opinion does more than shape headlines. It quietly reshapes power itself. Behind palace doors, decisions about influence, visibility, and even coronation roles are increasingly guided by how the public perceives each royal figure. Anne's reputation was built not through charm campaigns or media strategy, but through relentless work, and during times of royal crisis, her steady presence has repeatedly acted as a stabilizing force. Recent features in publications like Marie Claire have highlighted her pivotal role in maintaining public support for the institution during turbulent times. Public perception, now measurable through polls, social media, and international commentary, increasingly favors Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Their image blends tradition with relatability, modernity with respect for history, a balance that matters deeply when the monarchy faces questions about relevance. When public approval concentrates around certain figures, internal influence naturally shifts toward them. Coronation planning, ceremonial prominence, and advisory roles are no longer guided solely by tradition, they are shaped by public trust. Limiting the influence of others, and may have reasoned, was not personal, it was institutional self-preservation. By protecting William and Catherine's space to define the next era, she safeguarded the monarchy's standing, ensuring that focus remained on the figures the public most admired. Titles and hierarchies may appear unchanged, but real influence flows toward those who command public loyalty, particularly in times of uncertainty. Coronation roles carry enormous symbolic weight, signaling who embodies the future and who represents continuity. Every seat at the planning table, every gesture, every carefully curated appearance reflects an acute awareness of public perception, and seems to understand this better than most. By reinforcing the authority of the royals who currently hold the strongest public trust, she may believe she is safeguarding the monarchy itself. In a system where symbolism equals survival, such careful calculation could determine who truly shapes the crown's future. And in this subtle, strategic orchestration, Camilla's influence, once assumed secure, has been quietly constrained, not through spectacle, but through deliberate, measured moves by those attuned to both tradition and public favor. The palace remains outwardly calm, yet every decision signals a shift in power and a careful positioning for the next chapter of the monarchy.